Good morning friends. This presentation is for academic purpose of second MBBS students only. In this presentation, we are going to learn about pharmacotherapy of amoebiasis. In this presentation, we discuss introduction, which includes life cycle of causative agent, clinical presentation of amoebiasis, classification of anti-amoebic drugs, and mechanism of action, pharmacokinetic, adverse effect, and therapeutic uses of individual anti-amoebic drugs. Introduction. Amoebiasis is a parasitic disease caused by ant amoeba histolytica. Over 15 million people are infected worldwide. It is endemic in most parts of India and other developing countries. Poor sanitation and lower socioeconomic status are important factors in the spread of disease. Mode of transmission is by fecal contamination of food and water, which is a major mode of transmission, and it also occurs by direct contact with dirty hands or objects as well as by sexual contact. Now let's see life cycle of E. histolytica. E. histolytica exists in two forms. First is cyst or the dormant form. It can survive outside the body for several weeks. Second is trophozoid or the dividing form. It is non-infective, do not persist outside the body but invasive. Infection occurs by ingestion of the food or water contaminated with infective amoebic cyst. Inside the intestinal lumen, amoebic cysts convert into trophozoids. Now these liberated trophozoids survive on the intestinal bacterial flora. Luminal trophozoids carries towards the rectum and get converted to cyst and expel in the feces, which is responsible for infection to other persons. Some trophozoids may multiply and invade intestinal mucosa and causes ulceration of mucosa of large intestine and present with either acute dysentery or chronic intestinal amoebiasis. At later stage, trophozoids may pass into bloodstream and may spread to liver through the portal vein to produce amoebic liver abscess. On rare occasions, amoebic abscess may found in lungs, brain, spleen or kidney. Clinical presentation. Symptoms of amoebiasis can range from mild diarrhea to dysentery with blood and mucus in the stool. 90% of the infection is asymptomatic, only 10% infection present with clinical syndrome. Invasion of intestinal lining causes amoebic dysentery or amoebic colitis. Patient may experience pain in abdomen, blood in stool, diarrhea or flatulence, fatigue, fever, loss of appetite, weight loss, etc. Now, anti-amoebic drugs. First of all, classification. There are mainly two groups, tissue amoebicide and luminal amoebicide. Tissue amoebicide again divided into two. First, drugs for both intestinal and extraintestinal amoebiasis, which includes nitronimidazole and alkaloids. Nitroimidazoles are metronidazole, sacnidazole, tinidazole, ornidazole, cetridazole. Alkaloids such as imitin and dihydroimitin. For extraintestinal amoebiasis only, chloroquine. Second group is luminal amoebicide. It includes amide such as diloxynate furoate, nitazoxanide, then 8-hydroxyquinolines such as quinidochlor, dihydrohydroxyquine, and antibiotics like tetracycline and peramomycin. First of all, metronidazole. Metronidazole is a prototype nitroimidazole derivative introduced in 1959 for trichomoniasis and later found to be highly active amoebicide. selectively toxic not only to amoeba but also certain other protozoa, most anaerobic bacteria, and certain helminths. Antimicrobial spectrum of metronidazole. It includes E. histolytica, Giardia lamblia, Trichomonas vaginalis, anaerobic bacteria like Bacterium fragilis, Fusobacterium, Clostridium perfringens, Clostridium difficile, Helicobacter pylori, Campylobacter, Spirochates, Streptococci, anaerobic streptococci. Also affect helminth, which is D. medinensis. Metronidazole does not affect aerobic bacteria. Mechanism of action of metronidazole. It is a prodrug. It requires reductive activation of nitro group by susceptible organism. It is selectively toxic to anaerobic and microaerophilic organism. There is a unique system to anaerobic bacteria or anaerobic organism, that is pyruvate ferroxin oxidoreductase pathway, which normally generate ATP via oxidative decarboxylation of pyruvate. After entering the cell by diffusion, its nitro group is reduced by certain redox proteins operative only in anaerobic microbes to highly reactive nitro radical, which exert cytotoxicity. The nitro radical of metronidazole acts as an electron sink which competes with the biological electron acceptors of the anaerobic organisms for the electrons generated by the pyruvate ferredoxin oxidoreductase enzyme pathway of pyruvate oxidation. As a result, the energy metabolism of anaerobe is disrupted. Aerobic environment attenuates cytotoxicity of metronidazole by inhibiting its reductive activation. Pharmacokinetic absorption. It is almost completely absorbed from small intestine and little unabsorbed drug reaches the colon. Distribution. It is widely distributed in the body, attaining therapeutic concentration in vaginal secretion, semen, saliva, and CSF. Metabolism. It is metabolized by oxidation followed by glucuronidation in liver. It has low plasma protein binding, only 20%, and plasma half-life is 8 hours, which is increased in patients with impaired renal function. Excretion. The parent drug and metabolites are excreted in urine. Adverse effect. Most frequently observed adverse effects of metronidazole are anorexia, nausea, metallic taste, epigastric distress. Less frequently observed adverse effects are headache, glossitis, dryness of mouth, transient neutropenia. On prolonged administration, it causes peripheral neuropathy and neurotoxicity like vertigo, dizziness, numbness of extremities. Thrombophlebitis of injected vein occurs if the solution is not well diluted. Drug interaction. Metronidazole produces disulfiram-like reaction in alcoholics. It causes potentiation of anticoagulant effect of warfarin by inhibiting its metabolism and increasing lithium toxicity by decreasing renal elimination of lithium. Enzyme inducers like phenobarbital, rifampicin, they decrease the effect of metronidazole. Enzyme inhibitors such as cimetidine, it reduce metronidazole metabolism, so its dose should be reduced when used along with enzyme inhibitors. Contraindication. Metronidazole is contraindicated in neurological disease, blood dyscrasias, first trimester of pregnancy, though no teratogenic effect has been demonstrated, but its mutagenic potential warrants caution. Also, it requires cautious use in chronic alcoholics. Clinical uses of metronidazole. First is amoebiasis. Metronidazole is a drug of choice for all forms of amoebic infection. It is less effective than many luminal amoebicide in eradicating cyst from the colon, as it is nearly completely absorbed from the upper bowel. For invasive amoebic dysentery and liver abscess, 800 mg 3 times a day, and for children 30 to 50 mg per kg per day for 7 to 10 days. For severe cases of amoebic dysentery or liver abscess, 500 mg is infused IV slowly every 6 to 8 hours for 7 to 10 days or till oral therapy can be instituted. For mild intestinal amoebiasis, 400 mg 3 times a day for 5 to 7 days. Second use is giardiasis. It is highly effective in a dose of 400 mg TDS for 7 days. A shorter course of 3 days with 2 gram per day is equally effective. Next use is Trichomonas vaginitis. It is the drug of choice for this condition. 2 gram single dose is preferred. Alternatively, 400 mg TDS may be used for 7 days. Additional intravaginal treatment is needed only in refractory cases. Repeated courses may be necessary in some patients, but should be given with a gap of at least 4 to 6 weeks. The male partner also should be treated concurrently in cases of recurrent infections. Another use is anaerobic bacterial infection. Now, anaerobic bacterial infections occur mostly after colorectal or pelvic surgery or appendectomy, etc. Brain abscess and endocarditis caused by anaerobic organisms. Metronidazole is highly effective against most of the anaerobic infection. It is generally used in combination with gentamicin or cephalosporin, as many infections are mixed infections. For severe cases, IV administration is recommended. 15 mg per kg infused over 1 hour followed by 7.5 mg per kg every 6 hours till oral therapy can be instituted with 400 to 800 mg TDS. Prophylactic use in high risk situation, for example colorectal or biliary surgery, is recommended. Other drugs effective in anaerobic infections are clindamycin and chloramphenicol. Another use is pseudomembranous enterocolitis. It occurs due to Clostridium difficile, which is generally associated with the use of antibiotics. Oral metronidazole 400 to 800 mg 3 times a day for 10 to 14 days is more effective, more convenient and less toxic, and therefore it is preferred over vancomycin, which may be used in non-responsive cases or when the infection recurs. Another use, acute necrotizing ulcerative gingivitis, which is also known as trench mouth. It is caused by mixed flora of anaerobes like Fusobacterium, spirochetes and bacteroids. Metronidazole or tinidazole are the drug of choice for acute necrotizing ulcerative gingivitis. Metronidazole 200 to 400 mg 3 times a day. For children, 15 to 30 mg per kg per day, often combined with amoxicillin, tetracycline or erythromycin. The response is rapid with the disappearance of spirochete Fusobacterium complex from the lesion and the resolution of pain, bleeding, ulceration and bad breath within 2 to 3 days. But the treatment must be continued for at least 5 days. Then Helicobacter pylori gastritis or peptic ulcer. Metronidazole or tinidazole alone are ineffective in eradicating H. pylori. As a result, resistance develops against this drug when used alone. Metronidazole 400 mg TDS or tinidazole 500 mg BD frequently used with amoxicillin or clarithromycin and proton pump inhibitor in triple drug 2-week regimen. Then kidney worm infestation. Nitirazole is considered to be the drug of choice, but as it is not available in India, metronidazole is used. A 7-day course with 200 to 400 mg TDS produce symptomatic relief. The local reaction of the worm may be suppressed by its anti-inflammatory action, and the extraction of the worm is facilitated. Another drug is tinidazole. It is an equally efficacious congener of metronidazole, similar to it in every way except it has slow elimination, so long plasma half-life of 12 to 14 hours, longer duration of action, so it is more suited for single dose or once daily therapy. It has better tolerability, incidence of side effects are lower. Uses of tinidazole: first, intestinal amoebiasis, 2 gram OD for 3 days or 600 mg twice daily for 5 to 7 days. Then trichomoniasis or giardiasis, 2 gram single dose or 600 mg once daily for 7 days. For anaerobic infection, for prophylactic use, 2 gram single dose before colorectal surgery, and for therapeutic use initially 2 gram followed by 500 mg BD for 5 days. Then for H. pylori infection, 500 mg BD for 2 weeks in triple drug combination. Now orinidazole, it has activity similar to metronidazole, but it is slowly metabolized, so has longer T-half of 12 to 14 hours. The clinical uses, dose regimen and toxicity profile is similar to tinidazole. Then secnidazole, clinical use, potency and side effect profile is similar to metronidazole. It has long plasma half-life, more than 20 hours, shows post antiprotozoal effect. For amoebiasis, giardiasis and trichomoniasis, 2 gram single dose orally is effective. For hepatic amoebiasis, 1.5 gram single daily orally for 5 days. Then cetronidazole, it is similar to tinidazole in all aspects. Advantages of cetronidazole are: it is slightly more potent, no neurological toxicity, no disulfiram-like reactions, no nausea, vomiting or metallic taste, no carcinogenicity. Dose for amoebiasis is 300 mg BD for 3 to 5 days. For giardiasis and trichomoniasis, 600 mg orally as single dose. Imetin and dihydroimetin. Imetin is an alkaloid from Syphilis epica cunha. Imetin is a potent and directly acting amoebicide. Dihydroimetin is a semi-synthetic derivative of imetin. They both are effective against trophozoite but not against amoebic cyst. Mechanism of action: they act by inhibition of protein synthesis in amoeba by arresting intra-ribosomal translocation of tRNA amino acid complex. In acute dysentery, the stool is rapidly cleared of trophozoite and symptomatic relief occur in 1 to 3 days, even faster than metronidazole, but it is not curative in the sense that the patient continues to pass cyst in the stool. It is highly efficacious in amoebic liver abscess also. Imetin cannot be given by oral route because it will be vomited out. It is administered by parenteral route, either intramuscular or subcutaneous, but never by intravenous route. Both are accumulated in liver, kidney, spleen and lungs. They are slowly eliminated via kidney over a period of 1 to 2 months. Second course should not be repeated within 6 weeks, otherwise cumulative toxicity can occur. Dose: 60 mg intramuscular once for 5 days. Should be given only till acute symptoms subside, not more than 10 days in any case. Side effect of imetin and dihydroimetin: most commonly produce vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal cramp, muscle weakness, stiffness, ECG changes like T wave inversion and prolongation of PR interval, cardiotoxicity in form of tachycardia, hypotension, arrhythmia, and myocarditis. So it is used only in hospital setup. Strict complete bed rest is required, and exercise should be prohibited for another 1 to 2 months. Other side effects are itching and skin rash, nausea, and lesion at the injection site. They are contraindicated in renal and cardiac disease, in children, and in pregnancy. Uses: they are rarely used nowadays. It is a reserved drug for severe intestinal or extraintestinal amoebiasis or patient not responding to metronidazole. Luminal amebicide must follow it. Also used for liver plug infestation. Dihydroamidine is preferred over imidine for severe amoebic dysentery and liver abscess, as it is less cumulative and less toxic to the heart. Symptomatic relief within 1 to 3 days, but they are not curative. Now, drugs for extraintestinal amoebiasis only, that is chloroquine. Chloroquine is highly concentrated in liver. It destroys trophozoite of E. histolytica, completely absorbed from upper intestine, so it is very effective in treating hepatic abscess, amoeboma, and extraintestinal amoebiasis. Amoeba do not develop resistance to it. Dose: 600 mg base BD for initial 2 days, then 300 mg OD for 21 days. It is not effective against cyst, therefore luminal amebicide must be given after chloroquine therapy. Now given only when metronidazole is not tolerated. Now luminal amebicide, first of all diloxinate furoate. It is effective luminal amebicide, directly kills trophozoite responsible for production of cyst, but it is not active against tissue trophozoite. However, it is very effective in mild intestinal amoebiasis and asymptomatic cyst passers. Less effective in invasive amoebic dysentery because it has poor tissue amoebicidal action. Pharmacokinetic absorption: it is ester and hydrolyzed in the gut by bacteria to produce diloxinate and furoic acid. About 80 to 90% of free diloxinate get absorbed in systemic circulation, but it does not have any systemic anti-amoebic action. Unabsorbed 10 to 20% of free diloxinate is the real anti-amoebic substance and produce primarily luminal amoebicidal action. Metabolized by glucuronide conjugation and excreted by kidney in urine. Mainly used for the treatment of asymptomatic cyst passers after the adequate treatment of intestinal and hepatic amoebiasis to prevent relapse of invasive and extraintestinal amoebiasis. Dose is 500 mg 3 times a day for 10 days. For children, 20 mg per kg per day. It is combined with metronidazole or tinidazole, and the only side effect is flatulence. Then 8-hydroxyquinolines like iodoquinol or cleoquinol. They are halogenated compound like diloxinate furoate, commonly used with metronidazole or tinidazole to treat luminal amoebiasis. They kill cyst forming trophozoite but not trophozoite in intestinal wall or extraintestinal tissue. Mechanism of action is unknown, but these act as contact amoebicides. Pharmacokinetic: only about 10 to 30% undergoes absorption, metabolized by conjugation and excreted by kidney in urine. The remainder 70 to 90% remains unabsorbed, reaches the lower bowel and act as luminal amoebicide and excreted in feces. Other uses are giardiasis for local treatment of monilial and trichomonas vaginitis, superficial fungal skin infection. Dose for intestinal amoebiasis: iodoquinol 650 mg TDS orally and cleoquinol 250 to 500 mg TDS orally. Adverse effect of 8-hydroxyquinoline mainly produce GI disturbances in form of diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, anorexia, abdominal pain, so should be taken with food, and if diarrhea persists, the drug should be discontinued. It also produces peripheral neuropathy, subacute myelooptic neuropathy, and as a result it is banned in many countries due to toxicity, and FDCs of idoquinol and cleoquinols are banned in India. Then antibiotics. Antibiotics are used as alternative drug in the management of mild to moderate intestinal amoebiasis along with other luminal agents such as diloxinate furoate or metronidazole. They reduce the normal GI bacterial flora on which the amoeba thrive for their growth. Tetracycline, doxycycline, and erythromycin do not have a direct effect on the protozoa, while paromomycin has a direct amoebicidal action also besides reducing the GI bacterial flora. They have no effect against extraintestinal amoebic infection as they are not good for acute dysentery and for hepatic amoebiasis. Dose of paromomycin is 1 gram QID orally for 2 weeks. Thank you very much for listening.